Have you ever felt like you were fighting the same invisible battle again and again? Even when you changed cities, changed friends, changed jobs, changed everything you could think to change? Have you ever wondered why two people can face the same problem, yet one grows wiser and calmer, while the other gets pulled deeper into fear and confusion? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are stepping into a story that moves through time in a way most people do not talk about out loud. It starts with one ordinary man who believed his life was unlucky, and it ends with him discovering that what he called bad luck was actually a lesson raveling with him like a shadow. And the moment he learned to face that shadow with awareness, his whole life began to turn. This is a story about karma from past life to this life, but not in a fantasy way, not in a way that asks you to blindly believe strange things, in a practical way, in a way that asks you to look at your habits, your reactions, your wounds, your cravings, your fear, and to ask a very simple question: what if the patterns that keep returning are not punishments, but invitations to wake up? It is also a story about mantra practice, about repetition that cleans the mind the way clear water cleans dust from a window. And it is a story about protection, not the kind that turns you into a paranoid person hiding from the world, but the kind that makes your inner space so steady that negativity cannot hook into you so easily anymore. Some people call that aura protection. Some call it mindfulness. Some call it spiritual hygiene. The label is not important. The result is, the man in this story is named Aaron. He grew up as the kind of kid who tried to be good, not perfect, just good enough to be safe. He learned early that praise felt like oxygen, and criticism felt like drowning. In school, he was the boy who apologized too quickly. In friendships, he was the boy who gave too much. In family gatherings, he was the boy who tried to keep everyone comfortable, even when no one asked him to. As he entered adulthood, people began to call him reliable. That sounded like a compliment, but it became a cage. Reliable meant others leaned on him and forgot to thank him. Reliable meant he was always the one who stayed late, the one who fixed the problem, the one who carried the emotional weight of a room. Reliable meant he did not feel allowed to fall apart. And inside, he was falling apart in slow motion. It started as small anxiety, then it grew into something he could not name. He would wake up with his heart racing, not because of a bad dream he remembered, but because his body seemed to be remembering something his mind could not access. He would walk into a room and feel watched. He would meet someone new and instantly feel distrust, even if they smiled warmly. He would do everything right at work and still feel like disaster was about to happen. He told himself he was stressed. He told himself everyone feels like this. He told himself to be tougher. He even mocked the spiritual side of life in front of his friends, because mocking something is a way of avoiding the fear that it might be real. Then the first collapse happened. It was a normal Monday. He was at his desk, answering emails, drinking coffee that tasted like burnt patience. A co-worker asked him a simple question. Aaron opened his mouth to answer, and suddenly his mind went blank. Not the normal blank, not the forgetful blank. It was like someone pulled the plug from his awareness. His vision narrowed. His hands went cold. His chest tightened. He stood up too fast and nearly fell. He stepped into the restroom, locked himself in a stall, and tried to breathe. The air felt thin. His thoughts felt like a swarm. He had no idea what was happening. By the time he got home that night, he was exhausted in a way sleep could not fix. He lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. He felt shame because he could not explain what was wrong. He felt anger, because he had tried so hard to do everything right. And he felt something else, a quiet terror that his life was being controlled by something he could not see. The next weeks were worse. Panic came in wet like weather. One day he felt okay and thought he was healed. The next day he felt like he was trapped inside his own nervous system. He tried therapy. He tried exercise. He tried supplements. He tried forcing positivity. Nothing held. And then something strange began to happen. He started having dreams that felt like memories. Not dreams with random symbols, dreams with detail. Dirt under fingernails, smoke in the air, a heavy smell of metal and fear. Voices yelling in a language he did not speak in waking life. Yet in the dream he understood perfectly. He saw himself in those dreams as someone else. He saw hands that were not his hands. He saw scars that did not exist on his current body. He saw himself running through a narrow street, looking back as if being chased. He woke up with his heart pounding and the taste of panic on his tongue. Errant ride to laugh it off. He told himself it was just stress. But the dreams returned night after night. And after each dream, his daytime anxiety felt worse. Like the dream was not only a story but also fuel for the fear he carried. One evening, after a particularly brutal day, he went to a small neighborhood bookstore because he could not stand the walls of his apartment. He wandered without intention until he found a shelf with books about meditation and the mind. He did not believe in that stuff, but his pride was tired. When the ego is exhausted, it finally stops pretending. He picked up a thin book about mantra practice. The cover was plain. The language was simple. The book said something that made him pause. Your mind repeats what it knows. A mantra teaches your mind a new repetition. He stood there, reading that sentence over and over. He realized his mind was already chanting all day. It was chanting fear. It was chanting self-blame. It was chanting what if. It was chanting not safe. If the mind was already repeating, then the question was not whether repetition mattered. The question was what you were repeating. He bought the book and went home. That night he sat on his bed, held the book like it was a fragile object, and read about how sound and attention can anchor the mind. The book did not promise miracles. It did not threaten punishment. It suggested something humble. Begin with 5 minutes. Choose a phrase that points your mind toward clarity and compassion. Repeat it gently. When your thoughts wander, return. Aaron felt skeptical, but he also felt desperate. And sometimes desperation is the doorway to sincerity. He closed the book, sat upright, and whispered a simple mantra he remembered hearing once in a documentary about monks. He did not even know if he pronounced it right. He just repeated the sound slowly, with the best intention he could gather. At first his mind fought back. Thoughts shouted. Doubts mocked him. Memories stung. His body felt restless. He wanted to quit, but he kept going for 5 minutes. Then he stopped. He felt no fireworks, no visions, no instant peace. But he noticed something subtle. His breathing had slowed. The space behind his eyes felt a little less tight. For the first time in weeks, he felt one small pocket of quiet. He slept that night a little deeper. Not perfect, but deeper. The next day he repeated the 5 minutes. Then the next. Then the next. He began to treat it like brushing his teeth. Not a spiritual performance. Not a dramatic ritual. Just hygiene for the mind. After 2 weeks his nightmares changed. They did not disappear, but they became less violent. He still saw scenes that felt like another life, yet the fear inside the dream was softer. Sometimes he even noticed a strange compassion toward the person he was in the dream. as if he was finally meeting a wounded part of himself instead of running from it. That is the first big karmic lesson. You do not heal a pattern by hating it. You heal it by seeing it clearly. One night, after his mantra practice, Aaron had a dream that felt different from the others. It was calm. He was standing near a river. The air smelled like wet stone. He saw a woman sitting on the bank, hands folded, face peaceful. She looked at him with kindness that felt ancient, like a kindness that does not need you to earn it. She did not speak with words, but he understood her message the way you understand a song. She was telling him that fear was not his enemy. Fear was a messenger carrying unfinished business. He woke up with tears on his face, not the tears of terror, but the tears of release. The next morning, Aaron unsearched for a local meditation group. He felt awkward walking in. He expected judgment. He expected strange people. Instead, he found ordinary humans sitting in silence, trying to understand their minds. After the session, he spoke to an older man named Ravi. Ravi listened carefully, without interrupting, without rushing to label Aaron as crazy. When Aaron described the dreams, Ravi nodded slowly. Ravi said, "Sometimes the mind shows you stories to explain sensations. Sometimes those stories connect to deeper memory, whether you call it past life or deep subconscious. The practice is the same. You do not cling. You do not panic. You observe. You learn. You purify intention." Aaron asked, "What does purify intention mean?" Ravi said, "It means you stop feeding harm. It means you stop living on autopilot. It means you choose compassion even when fear begs you to choose control." Aaron said, "I do not feel compassionate. I feel scared all the time." Ravi smiled gently. He said, "Compassion is not a mood. Compassion is a decision." That sentence stayed with Aaron. Over the following months, Aaron continued mantra practice. He also began simple mindfulness training. He learned to watch thoughts like clouds instead of treating them like commands. He learned to notice the moment when anxiety began, the first spark, instead of only noticing when the whole house was on fire. He learned to breathe into discomfort instead of escaping into distraction. And as he practiced, he started to see patterns in his daily life that matched the dreams. In the dreams, he was always running. In daily life, he was always avoiding conflict, avoiding disappointment, avoiding saying no, avoiding the truth of his own limits. In the dreams, he always felt guilty, as if he had done something unforgivable. In daily life, he carried guilt like a default setting, apologizing for existing. In the dreams, he always feared being caught. In daily life, he feared being seen, because being seen meant someone might reject him. Karma, in this sense, was not some cosmic judge. It was a loop of fear and reaction, repeating it until someone finally says, "Enough." One day, after a stressful meeting, Aaron felt a panic attack rising. His old habit was to run to the restroom and hide. That day, he paused. He remembered the mantra. He remembered Ravi saying compassion is a decision. He placed one hand on his chest under the table, breathed slowly, and repeated the mantra silently. He did not force calm. He did not fight fear. He simply stayed. The panic did not fully vanish, but it stopped escalating. It became a wave he could ride instead of a wave that drowned him. When the meeting ended, he walked outside and felt sunlight on his face. And he realized something that nearly made him laugh. He had just done the opposite of his dream pattern. He did not run. That is how karma changes, not through dramatic declarations, through one moment where you choose a different response. As Aaron grew steadier, People around him began to change their behavior too. The co-worker who always dumped extra tasks on him stopped doing it as much because Aaron began saying no without anger. His family stopped leaning on him like a pillar because he began setting gentle boundaries. Friends who only called when they needed something faded away, and new friendships formed with people who respected his presence. Some call that or a protection. To me, it is simply the energy of self-respect. When your inner field is clear, it repels what is harmful without you needing to fight. But the most intense part of the story came later, when Aaron encountered a woman named Celine at the meditation group. She was new, quiet, with eyes that looked like they had already lived through several storms. They spoke after a session. Their conversation was simple, yet something about her presence triggered a deepened ease in Aaron. Not dislike, not attraction. Something older, like a bell ringing inside his bones. That night, he had the most vivid dream yet. He was back in that other life scene. The narrow street, the smoke, the running. He turned a corner and saw Celine. But she was not Celine. She wore different clothes, her hair different, her face younger. But it was her. In the dream, she looked at him with pain and betrayal. He felt a memory crash into him. In that life, he had abandoned her, not out of cruelty, but out of fear. He had chosen his own survival and left her to face danger alone. He woke up shaking. He sat up and repeated the mantra until his breath slowed. Then he sat in silence and asked himself, "What am I supposed to do with this?" The next week he spoke to Ravi. Ravi listened, then said softly, "If the dream is showing truth, then the karma is not here to punish you. It is here to offer repair." But repair does not mean obsession. It means practicing courage and compassion in this life. Aaron said, "How do I repair something I do not even know is real?" Ravi said, "You repair it by not repeating the same fear. You repair it by meeting people with honesty. You repair it by being present when your old self would disappear." Aaron understood. He began speaking to Celine with kindness, without forcing intimacy. He offered help when it was appropriate and did not make it about being a savior. He listened to her stories without trying to fix her. Over time, she opened up about her own anxiety, her own sense of being haunted by patterns she could not explain. One evening, she admitted that she had always felt abandoned in relationships, even when people stayed. She said, "It is like my nervous system expects people to leave." Aaron felt his throat tighten. He could have stayed silent. He could have run from the discomfort of being the mirror. Instead, he breathed and stayed. He said, "I know that feeling. I have been practicing not running." Celine looked at him for a long moment, then nodded slowly, as if something inside her recognized the truth behind his words. Over months, their friendship deepened into a bond built on presence, not drama, not fantasy. Presence. Aaron noticed that the more present he became, the less the past life dreams tormented him. Sometimes they still came, but now they felt like lessons closing their loop, not wounds reopening. In one final dream, he stood again by that river. The peaceful woman was there. This time she smiled and the message was clear. When you transform fear into awareness, karma becomes wisdom. He woke up and felt a quiet gratitude, not because life was now perfect, but because life was now honest. Here is where I want to speak directly to you listening right now. Whether you believe in past lives or not, the core teaching is the same. Your present habits are the place where your destiny is shaped. If you keep repeating fear, you keep building a life that feels unsafe even in safety. If you keep repeating resentment, you keep building a life that feels poisoned even in comfort. If you keep repeating compassion, you build an inner home that is hard to disturb. Mantra practice is one way to do that. It is not magic. It is training. The mind is like a wild horse. If you do not hold the reins with gentle consistency, it will drag you wherever old habits want to go. A memory gives you a simple rein to hold, a steady sound, a steady meaning, a steady return, and about protection. True protection is not about imagining enemies everywhere. True protection is about cleaning your own field, your attention, your intention, your speech, your choices. When you stop feeding negativity, negativity has less to eat inside you. I have seen this in people around me. I have seen someone trapped in constant conflict, always attracting the same kind of chaotic relationship. When they began a daily practice of breath and a simple phrase repeated with sincerity, they did not become a different human overnight, but they became more aware. And awareness changed their choices. They stopped responding to bait. They stopped chasing people who treated them badly. They stopped abandoning themselves. And the world responded, not as a reward, but as a reflection. That is karma in daily life. Maybe you are wondering, what if I have heavy karma from the past? What if I did harm and I do not remember it? Here is the truth that can set you free. You cannot change what already happened, but you can stop planting the same seeds today. And when you stop planting harmful seeds, the harvest changes over time. If you want a simple beginning, begin with this. Choose one short phrase that points you toward clarity and kindness. Repeat it for a few minutes each day, not to escape life, to meet life. When fear rises, repeat it gently and breathe. When anger rises, repeat it and soften the jaw. When sadness rises, repeat it and allow ears without shame. You are not weak for feeling. You are human. And if you ever feel like you are being haunted by your own mind, remember Aaron. The haunting eased when he stopped running. It eased when he stayed with discomfort long enough for wisdom to emerge. Thank you for being here with me. If you have ever experienced repeating life patterns that felt bigger than coincidence, share your story in the comments. If you have tried mantra practice or meditation, tell us what you noticed. Your words might help someone else feel less alone in their own inner storm. Closing words. May you be protected by your own awareness. May your heart learn courage. May your choices become wiser. And may the karma you carry transform into compassion. Subscribe, like, and stay close, because the next story may be the one that answers the question you have been afraid to ask.